Good evening, everyone. Welcome once again to a Valanth League Monday. We are here to cast for the third week in a row Frostbite Equinox as they are today facing off against Madmen. I am joined by actually one of the Madmen members, Vulpes. Hello.
Yes, hello and good evening to everyone, and welcome to yet another interesting series of Division 3 Valence League.
Yes, as we are continuing with Equinox's journey uh, through this season, a fairly new team coming in at the beginning of the season has two games showed some good things. Masadi weren't able to convert it into a win last week. Um, so yeah, it will be interesting to see how they are going to do today. How have Madmen been doing, Vulpes?
Madmen have been doing well. I actually got to play last week as a sub over the starting mid laner, and spirits are high. People are very excited for this series in general, and the winner will get to be in the top 3, like for week 3 at least. So the team are very excited to win this one.
Right. Yeah, I think it will be interesting to see them. I haven't seen much from them yet myself. I've mostly been looking at Equinox, but for the rest, yeah, looking at Equinox side, I think last week they had a decent game. I think their first week was a bit weird because the French team they were playing against have been a bit of an odd entity so far. But they have been doing well. I think especially Fenrir has been a standout player for the team last week in the one game that they were actually able to win. He really was the one that turned it around and made just some plays that completely put the team on his back. But for us, I think his team is better. We will have a sub for today, as I can now see, as we are actually having Zeus instead of the normal support, Sushi.
That
Unless that
is
maybe.
sushi. That is
Oh, that
sushi.
is Sushi. I apologize for my um, mistake. So it will indeed be Sidisi slash Sushi who is playing, but yeah. So it will just be the same team as we are having normally. So yeah, overall, just a good team. Then Philip, can you take us through some of the members for Madmen?
And on the side of Madmen, we have Ignotar on top lane, Ice Zero on jungle, Mimic on mid lane, Levity on AD carry, and Kui on support. And this is the original starting roster for Madmen, which we will be seeing hopefully throughout the weeks here in Div 3.
All right. Well, then perhaps something. What are sort of what's the member so far from the team that you've liked the most that you think is playing has played the best in the previous 2 weeks?
I mean, obviously, Levity coming back here. Levity and Kui are the bot lane that won Div 3 last split. Levity has been on point. He did have a bit of a hiccup in week 1 against Celestial Light. However, I do believe that they, uh, he will be able to come back and prove why he was the Div 3 champion. On the top side, Ignotar, he is slowly getting into the hang of top lane. Obviously, he was a support player in the previous split, so it does take some time to shake up. Ice Arrow and Mimic. Ice Arrow did play a bit previous split. Now he is full time in the jungle. Hopefully, he will be able to prove his strengths here and in this series as well.
All right. Yeah, good to hear. Nice to have the Div 3 champions continue. As if we, I'm not sure whether we had the standings up, otherwise I can really quickly tell you myself. But essentially, Madman and Frostbite are currently equal in third place, both having won a single game and having lost 1-1. But we don't have much time to talk about the standings as we are actually getting a draft with the first man's already being thrown out, with the Urgot being taken away from Hodgson and also the Ezra already being banned away for the side of Madman.
Yes, Urgot banned from Hodgson and the Wukong from Novanomi. On the other side, Frostbite banning Ezreal and Zac away from Levity and Ice Arrow. Ice Arrow, a very prominent Zac player. I'm not sure about the Ezreal ban against Levity. I don't know if Ezreal is exactly one of his like main champions in his champion pool, so we'll see how the rest of the draft goes. And a Lulu ban away from Zeus, while Amumu is yet another jungler taken away from I0. And we're going to have a first pick Jinx, it seems. Yes, Jinx is locked in.
I had actually expected a Sivir to come out here as both Infantry and Lefty quite like the champion, but instead the Jinx actually will be picked up early. It is quite a strong champion overall in these teamfights, can be so incredibly powerful, as yeah, it will actually be responded to with the Sivir, so it is a pick that both Levity and Infantry really like, and picking it up in the first game for yourself also make sure that it won't be picked up in the next games by the enemy, as we are still in the Fearless Draft format, as the Volibear will also be taken away from Hodgson.
Uh,
Or
I
maybe.
I expect this
Oh,
to go
that's
jungle, but it
that's
could
Frostbite.
be yeah. No, Frostbite is on blue side. This is
Yes.
oh yeah. No. Yes, sorry. I already have the orgs wrong. Yes, Frostbite is on red side, sorry. Yes, the Jinx Silver trade, or as I like to I started calling it, the Levity Top Hat trade, because these two champions were traded between the two champions between the two players whenever they would play series. It's a good matchup. I don't say good matchup, but like it's a matchup Levity enjoys. He prefers to be on the side of Jinx. However, we have to mention that Infinity, a very big silver player, probably one of the best silver players we have here in Div 3. So it will be a very interesting matchup as the Jarvan is now locked in for the side of Madmen.
Yeah, it will be an interesting pick. Not too much movement to get away from the flag and drag, but I do think that the Sivir can deal with the Jarvan quite well, as the spell shield will block out most of the flag and drag, although of course the Cataclysm can be blocked. So I think it will be a decent pick up here against the Sivir. Will be interesting to see how it actually matches up, as the Braum is picked up together with the Jinx, although the Karma might be quite a good pick against the Braum, as Poke will be a bit tough to deal with for the Braum.
Karma Silver. Karma is an interesting walk-in. Karma Silver, the double movement speed buffs that it can give with Silver Ultimate and the Karma Mantra Shield can pose a trouble for this Jinx if they are not if it's unexpected for them. Jinx could get the very fast quickly get closed from this Volibear and just be in a lot of trouble. And yes, the laning phase will be very tough for this Braum against the double range champions. As we get to the second ban phase, we see Veigar banned away from Curly.
Right? Yeah, not the most expected ban, but perhaps just wanting to stop the late game potential of this team a little bit. Also, the Galio being taken away, so perhaps a bit scared for the anti-AP. On the other side, also the Malphite will be taken away to make sure that not too much, so they can perhaps pick a little bit more ID without getting punished too heavily. But so far, these next bans not really the most expected for me, as I haven't really, yeah, I can't really rationalize it myself. Do you understand the ban?
Kind of. The Malphite ban, and I'm expecting another tank ban here, most likely, are against Hodgson's champion pool. These are champions. Okay, I guess we just skipped the fifth ban. I'm not sure. Maybe you can tell me what they write in the lobby. What's the fifth ban? But I'm guessing the Galio ban is to deny the Jarvan Galio combo because to just lock down the Silver with the Cataclysm into the Grand Entrance from the Galio. The Veigar ban, I'm not too sure. Maybe it's a curly special, something or just something that the side of Frostbite don't want to play against, as Oriana is getting locked in by Stereo for Stereo.
All right. Yeah, he has had some good performance in the past, as we have actually been informed that the final ban is supposed to be a cannon ban, but currently the software that they are using for the Fearless Draft is not perfect, so there are some times that these bans will fail, and it will be cannon that is taken away. Yeah, the Oriana is something that we see more often used by I am sorry is quite proficient on the champion, has had some good performances. And will also nicely clump up everyone with the ultimate to essentially get AoE down by the Volibear and the Sivir. So I think a good pick up. The Azir also will just be another strong team fighting potential that will work really, really well with the Jarvan. So I think both teams already really setting up for some big team fights in the late game.
But this Azir isn't any Azir, it's Curly Azir, and Azir is his arguably best champion. It is his main, like, one-trick champion. So it's very interesting to see Azir go through, considering the two mid lane bans that Frostbite use in their second ban. phase, but let's see what the answer I'm guessing for top lane will be with this last pick.
Yeah, have given themselves the ability to essentially get their own custom maker. It will be Cho'Gath picked up, so just a big tank in the top lane will help. Will mean that the damage needs to be strong as we.
Oh, it's Karma top.
All right, yes, interesting adaptation here. As they will be picking Karma top. This Galio makes a bit more sense for their side. Of course, they now have a lot of AP coming around, but it will be interesting to see how this Karma actually is going to deal with the Cho'Gath. I'm not sure. Are you more? Do you know the matchup better? Because I don't know how Karma top works.
I'm not much of a top laner myself, but Karma top is basically just a big lane bully. The range, the mantra Q poke will be really annoying for the Cho'Gath, but Cho'Gath does have his passive that will heal him whenever he last hits. So, and he will easily outscale the Karma considering Cho'Gath's a tank and top lane Karmas don't usually go for full AP builds. They go like Malignance usually into supportive, more of a supportive itemization. There is the off chance it could be a tank Karma top lane, which I still don't think it's a good pick into this Cho'Gath. I feel like answering with a tank by themselves or some carry split pusher would have been a better choice against this Cho'Gath. But maybe the idea is to just play around Infantry, play around Stereo on this Orianna, on the Sivir, and just go for the 5v5 team fights. However, I am not too sure about this. This composition from the side of Frostbite.
Yeah, I do think that the Karma top is a bit strange here, especially since they then picked up the Melio as their support. Because I think they're gonna be struggling very much with the setup for the team fights, and there's also a bit of tankiness because they're really only gonna have the Volibear that's going to be jumping in for these team fights, and for the rest, yeah, the rest of the team will just kind of want to stay much further back. So I think they're really gonna uh, have a hard time once some of these fronts and backs start hitting. With I mean, the one thing that they do have going for them is that they have a lot of peel on their backline and sort of a lot of ways to keep it to make sure that the Sivir and the Orianna can get their damage down. But the main problem is they still have the Azir and the Jinx to deal with, and they have a lot of range and do actually outrange the Sivir at least in the late game, and also the Orianna will be. I think she has the range, but especially the Sivir will just be outranged in the late game by the Azir and by the Jinx, and as a result, I do think that the peel they have here will just really be difficult for them to really use. As they're just going to get outranged, and even if they keep the enemy team away from them, it will still be very, very difficult for them to actually win these fights with just a Jinx and the Azir free hitting from so far away, with only the Volibear able to do anything against it, really.
Yeah, I completely agree with this. Certainly, Madmen have the range advantage by a lot, and they have the much easier engage with the Jarvan Cataclysm. However, the peel back from the side of Frostbite shouldn't be underestimated. Milio with his super mega fire kick, I think is the name of his Q, and just I guess the Orianna Shockwave and the move speed ups from Karma and Sivir could be useful to increase to like either shorten the range advantage or just get away from this Madman engage. Not to mention we have what point was I on to make? Oh yeah, the Milio auto attack range increase, which will help a bit this Silver with the range problem that you will most definitely have against this Jinx and the Azir in the late game, and we'll see. We'll see. I think Madman's team comp is much easier to play, and I feel like they have the much better like comfort picks. I said the Curly Azir, the Levity Jinx. Yes, Infinity has his Sivir, but can the Sivir really? Will he be able to play around this Jarvan and this Cho'Gath who are just going to be sitting in front, and this Braum who are just going to be sitting in front of this Jinx and just blocking everything?
Yeah, I think it will be a tough one for them. Of course, there are ways around it, and especially if they can get a good Orianna ultimate, it will be very doable. But I think the biggest problem for Sivir would just be that the moment she wants to run to maybe run forward. The Jarvan can just ult her and make sure that she can't actually get on top of the Jinx and Azir, even if she gets very far ahead. So I think Madmen they have a lot of tools to essentially make sure the Sivir can't play the game. And I think, I mean, Frostbite, of course, with the Karma and with the Milia, you have a lot of ways to keep your individual members alive. So if ever somebody jumps onto the Sivir or onto the Orianna, they will be fairly fine, but it will just really be the question whether Frostbite can then actually deliver a meaningful counterpunch or whether just the Sivir and easier, essentially the key members of Madmen, will just be too safe and they are essentially going to maybe, like, because there could be a fight where they then are able to kill the Braum and the Jarvan quite quickly, but then just lose the fight because the Jinx and easier can free it for so long. And I do think that if NerfWaluigi can get ahead in this game and really become a menace, then it will be a bit more difficult to play for Madmen. But even if Frostbite get a bit of an advantage, as long as they can make sure that Volibear isn't too much of a threat, I think this backline will just completely take over the game once we really get into those late game fights. And yeah, of course, Frostbite might just be able to force fights around the Jinx, and especially if we saw how Infinity played last week, because last week he was just able to sprint at a Xerath in several fights, and of course Azir is not the exact same as a Xerath, but if Fenris is able to play with the same amount of confidence and is able to just kind of find some solo picks with the Sivir, then they can still win. But it would just be like, as long as Madmen just play calm and together, I don't think that Frostbite have a real way to win some of these late game team fights.
Yes, there's also another issue I personally have with Frostbite's comp, which is I don't think there's anyone who can easily kill this Cho'Gath later on. Cho'Gath will get extremely tanky, and both Sivir and Orianna not exactly known for their tank killing. Neither is this top lane Karma going to be doing much of that. Obviously, Sivir with those ricochets, with that boomerang blade, she can damage the backline quite easily. Although the range advantage, once again, shouldn't really be underestimated. So, and as we mentioned, there is very, very little tankiness on the side of Frostbite's comp. This Jinx, once she gets one reset, she will most likely just clean the entire team fight, and I'm not sure who's killing this Cho'Gath. Like, Cho'Gath needs to be put really far behind, and even if Novonomi focuses on the top side, I don't know if, like, this Karma, I'm not sure. I'm really not sure about this Karma pick.
Yeah, I mean, it's an experimental one. I always like when they do try stuff like this, but I think that it really does need to have a lot of impact in the early game, because after a while, having two supports will just you're really gonna feel the fact that they have two supports. And yeah, the thing is that it is VL, and we have seen very, very criminal drafts still come out ahead, but going into this game, the game seems fairly even, with both teams essentially sitting exactly at the same point in the standings. And in those games, if you see a draft like this coming out, it will just quickly tip the favor towards Madmen in this case. So yeah, well, of course, we'll give Frostbite a chance, and it's definitely not a comp that is impossible to win with. There's essentially every individual role is decent, but it's just really going to be how it actually works together. Because at the end, if the Orianna lands like 3 or 4 man shockwave in some of these fights, and the Sivir can just throw a lot of boomerangs through, then yeah, sure, the enemy team still blows up. But it is just really going to be the question whether he really gets these setups consistently throughout the game. So yeah, and I think I'm not sure how long we have to wait until the game starts. Of course, due to the new Further system, the delay between the end of the draft and the beginning of the game has been lengthened ever so slightly. So we are still looking for something of a fix, but we haven't set up anything yet. So we're still looking into that. So yeah, not sure what we can do in the meantime. But actually, we are again. Never mind. I apologize for saying anything, as we are instantly getting into the game already. As yeah, Vulpes, please take us through some of the things you expect to happen in the early stages, the first couple of levels.
I mean, looking at these champions, honestly, I expect just a lot of farming. Obviously, top lane, we're going to be seeing a lot of pressure coming from this Karma on the Cho'Gath. And Karma is running that Grasp of the Undying, so I'm expecting, like, it could be tank Karma top, but it could just be you know, for the extra poke. Although, I don't know, if you're going AP Karma, I guess you'd probably want Comet or Airy. So we'll see what build Hodgson ends up going for. But we see an invade here from the side of Frostbite. But Braum is just going to walk away.
Yeah, some vision will be set up at least, as we actually
Uh,
do have the Volibear also meeting with the ES in the jungle. Did this ward actually? I don't actually think they placed the ward there. Maybe he just did, but at the end, just some slight invades coming in. But at the end, it is really Madmen taking a lot of damage actually across this map with pretty much all the members of Frostbite throwing out some abilities in this early stage, and Frostbite have a tiny little advantage before the lane starts.
yes, that Volibear Lightning, sorry, I don't know the name of the spell, did decent damage here to Mimic on this Azir and to Izero. Obviously, the jungle is a very safe place, like for the last few years, so I doubt that will give Izero any problem with his first clear. However, this is a pretty decent advantage that Stereo gets, in HP at least. Azir will probably be forced to use support at some point down the line. The early game, I expect to be slightly in Oriana's favor because of just the bow spam being much more mobile over the Azir soldiers. But as I said, like bot lane to scaling ADCs, mid lane to scaling mages, and like the only lane I expect anything is this top lane.
Yeah, so you already have a rupture landing, so
Yes.
I can get a slight trade in, but for the most part, he will likely be pushed in. Although, of course, those queues can be very frustrating if they keep on landing for the side of Shogas, but still, for now, it should be just the Karma getting the push and getting a lot of those grasp stacks.
What I find interesting is Nova Nomi deciding to start from his red buff, both junglers heading to the bot side, which I guess in a way makes sense. Your both teams' main win condition, I'd say, is these bot lanes, and whichever ADC gets the early lead will probably be able to snowball for most of the game. However, I feel like it would have been better if Nova Nomi started from the bot side heading top and just get this Cho'Gath behind, get his Karma ahead. But we'll see what happens. I do expect some sort of fight for this bot side Scuttle Crab.
Yeah, yes, right now it is actually Novanomi who will actually be here first, but I think that the bot lane has actually the pressure here, so it will be interesting what is going to happen. But yeah, it is just a Jarvan. We need to back away. It might actually be a double scuttle here for the side of Novanomi, which will be really nice for the Volibears. We just give him a small advantage in this early game, as the lanes just kind of leave the jungle alone for now, teams.
It does seem to be, yes, it will most likely be unless Stereo gets caught in the gank, but no, he'll just head up to its jungler and he'll be fine. What's interesting early on right now is Hodgson is somehow already behind in farm, like he's around 10 CS behind on this Cho'Gath, which shouldn't really be happening. Karma, having the range advantage,
Yeah.
should be able to have a farm lead over the Cho'Gath, so I'm not sure. The poke is landing for now, but this farm difference is not a good start for the Frostbite top laner.
Ooh, as we do actually have the concussive blows landing onto the Sivir, stun will go down, also slowed, uprooted up with the flame chompers, and the Milio trying to do as much as possible, but then still flash across the wall for the Sivers. Now, it is actually the Milio left behind good super mega fire kick to make sure he doesn't get attacks further, but Frostbite does take a lot of damage in this bot side. There's a good little engage there by the side of Madman.
Good trade for the side of Madman. Levity, just like his top laner, also about 10 CS ahead. And Silverback gets that go with a longsword. Will be looking to farm and get that cash out from that item. In the meantime, in the mid lane, Orianna and Zir getting their first backs through. Tier and an Emptom for the Orianna versus Emptom and Boots for the Azir. Pretty standard stuff. Stereo had a small farm lead, which is now getting diminished by this Azir since he managed to get his back to first. Overall, I'd say apart from top lane being down 10 CS this early on, the lanes are going just about as you would expect them. The poke advantage will be going to the Orianna for most of it. But I also want to mention Nova Nomi is super farming ahead. He's 4 camps ahead of Ice Arrow here, who since doing his first full clear has only gotten, now he's getting his second camp, which is really weird. I'm not sure what delayed him so much. Obviously Volley getting the advantage from the 2 Scuddles, as we see a Dragon getting contested early on.
Yes, the jungle isn't there, so NerfWaluigi should just be able to find it. Actually, no, it is a steal coming in from Jarvan, who just arrives in time across the wall. First blood also coming in for the side of Madmen as his Levity secures the first kill, and what seemed to be a nice little pickup there for Frostbite completely turned around as Ice Arrow just arrives in this nick of time to make sure he's able actually to secure that dragon, and yeah, it is now Madmen taking a bit of a gold lead. Although at the end, it is just a jungler falling, and NerfWaluigi would just continue farming right away.
The pressure is getting to NerfWaluigi. His smite left the dragon at about 70 HP as Stereo is getting ganked.
Yeah, shuffled back. No more flash, but without the Cataclysm up on the Jarvan, it is a bit harder to gank, as I do think that Iron Stereo had actually flashed away from the flag and drag earlier, so at the end, no kill coming through, but Madmen able to force even more fights, and now the jungler Ice Arrow able to start to get these fights rolling. As NerfWaluigi is still a bit waiting for level 6 it seems, and in this bot lane we do have the Sivir really taking a lot of that.
Yes, the range advantage is starting to show its face here in the bot lane with Jinx in this rocket form just poking the Sivir out and the Braum with the concussive blows. Jinx still keeping that 10 CS lead. And the top lane, the CS lead that Ignitar has slightly dropped down to 5 CS, while at least in the mid lane, Frostbite's mid laner has a 10 CS lead over Minik and this Azir, but as we said, both of these champions are just looking to scale slowly into those 2-3 items power spikes. So far there is nothing too interesting happening, but the Dragon Steel and the first Void were just so unfortunate for the side of Frostbite. NerfWaluigi had a huge lead throughout the early game, getting the double scuttle and everything, but it's like this Dragon Steel is probably going to set them back quite a bit. Currently sitting at 700 gold lead for the side of Madmen.
Yeah, it is very, very frustrating. At the end, it is actually 700 gold lead. I think a bit bigger, but I think it is just largely off of this. First of all, then is also at 20 farm lead now in the meantime in this bot lane. As yeah, I think if Henry right now just can't put much pressure against the Jinx, especially since the minion won't help him too much either. So it's just quite difficult for Infinity to play the game right now. That kind of just needs to sit back and take these rockets for the side of Levity. It is just really the strength of this Jinx against Zephyr, especially in Zephyr. Just I guess the main weakness of the champion is this range. For the rest, he has a lot of good stuff, but it is one of the things he really struggles with this. In the meantime, we do see top lane still getting pushed in, but yeah, a really good job from Ignitar to make sure he doesn't actually lose too much farm, even is ahead in farm against Harshen, which is fairly unexpected, really was expected. So right now, Madmen really just sitting pretty for the time being.
Yes. Oh, Stereo got caught. I wasn't paying attention for a bit. Stereo getting caught here on the mid lane.
Yeah, the Shockwave not enough to save him there. Cataclysm just clean to make sure it is finished off. So Madmen now, second kill, able to extend the goal lead even further, especially in one of the lanes that they weren't actually massively winning just yet. So yeah, Madmen now making sure that every lane going their way. Another good gank there, coming in by Ezra. This time does have the Cataclysm and no flash for Stereo. That means just an easy pickup on the kill.
Yes, the first gank, or well, the second gank for this Jarvan being successful, getting the gank onto the... Now with NerfWaluigi ganking on the bot lane here, but so much saves.
Yeah, we do have the Volibear coming in, stunned up, but Jinx doesn't actually fall just yet, able to get away. Is now in the middle of the fight. This Sivir locked up, infantry in trouble. Free to Warfare claims now. They get excited. This proc, NerfWaluigi can't get onto the Jinx anymore, and now it's just the Milio left, but he can't go anywhere as he's stuck, zapped down, and another kill going down for Levity. Triple kill here for this Jinx. Jinx 4-0, and it's just a nightmare scenario for Frostbite. As the gank was good, but they just with the Braum in the way they couldn't get onto the Jinx. And now it's 2-3k goal lead already for Madmen in a game where they really need to get ahead.
Very horrible start for the side of Frostbite. I'm not really sure how Infinity ended up being in melee range of the Braum, like in the middle of the entire enemy team. Jinx was able to keep her, yes. The initial engage by Nova Nomi with the ultimate was good, even though he did get slowed down for at the beginning. But then Levity uses both summoner spells, gets the range away from the Volibear, and then Ice Zero just on time, saves his bot lane, secures the 3 kills for Levity, and now this Jinx is super ahead. Yuntao's Wild Arrows plus the Berserker Greaves. It is not looking good at all for the side of Frostbite.
No, especially this first item coming in so early for this Jinx would just be so difficult to play against. They were already losing, and it's now just a 4-0 Jinx with the 25 CS lead will just make it. It's pretty much every fight Frostbite has to take. They need to make sure that this Jinx is taken down first, because otherwise the fight will be turned in an instant. And right now it is once again Madmen setting up for the dragon. Frostbite is there, but yeah, they recognize that they can't really fight this, so we'll just wait. Hopefully find some fight later so they can fight for these later dragons. But for now, Madmen will just be freely stacking these drakes and continuing the clean game they've had.
Yes, Frostbite cannot really look to contest, but this Jinx and this Jarvan, they are walking bot lane.
Yes, as now it is indeed under the tower. Sadisty caught out, nothing he can do, nowhere he was left to go. Good Glacial Fissure there to just secure the kill, and Madman another clean gank, and honestly Ice Arrow's movement in this game has been so excellent. Apart from missing out on those early scuttle grabs, he's just been in so much of the red space, able to throw out so many incredibly nice ganks.
Yes, the gank.
With another shuffle underneath the turret, flash away instantly from the Orianna. Shockwave also thrown out, but Milik still has his own flashes forward with the soldiers, able to secure the kill in the end, and the Yazir getting a solo kill there in the mid lane, forcing the flashes. That was a flash forward from Ignitar, secures the kill of the Hudson with the feast, and Madmen, they're just smurfing in all lanes at this point, as they find 2 solo kills in 2 lanes.
2 solo kills in less than, I want to say, 20 seconds between each other is... I don't want to be a doomer, but I think this game might be done. I don't know. This Karma is going the full AP build unless that tier is going into a Fimbulwinter, but even then...
Yes, it's again...
And
Yeah.
Jinx is excited. A bit too excited for Frostbite liking.
Yeah, it's actually now Nova Novi on this top set. Can he secure the first kill? Cataclysm out. Is this a mantra Q to secure the kill at the end? So Frostbite able to make sure they don't get cleanly taken down. As it is another kill coming in. Good teleport there for Frostbite to make sure they actually win the fight on the top side. As they actually are able to turn the tide a little bit with his first going down, third also going down towards Jinx. It's just gonna make it matters even worse. As yeah, it's just 5,000 gold lead behind, and I can't even imagine how much gold this Jinx is currently sitting on.
It was a light part in the top lane, but sadly that would give the turret for bot. That would also be defeats for the side of Madmen, who get those boot upgrades. And this Jinx, she is very much in the lead. She is very much ready to carry this game. 6-0-1. Probably has half of the components for Infinity Edge ready in base. She's about to reset, and it's about to make this lead even more unplayable. Oh, unless we're going for second item, Mortal Reminder, which is an interesting choice considering nobody on the side of Frostbite is building any armor yet. But I guess I'm not sure.
I think the goal of it will be essentially against this Melio healing with the cozy campfire, but I just don't think he really needs to worry much about it. He's just so far ahead. If he builds the Infinity Edge, and he can just damage through the healing at this point, and I also don't think he really needs to watch out for Hodgson's healing, because he isn't really building a tank. So sure, those Mantra Ws can heal him up a lot, but with how fed he is, I don't think this current build will be necessary. So yeah, let's see, perhaps showing a bit of mercy for Frostbite, but even with the slightly less than ideal build, it will just be Madman still so far in the lead, and they will just still be able to take fight, because even if the item isn't perfect, it is still 1x right.
Yes, even like I understand the executioners, like the anti-hero is good against basically 3 of the champions that Frostbite currently have, but the last Whisper as Asterio is enjoying his time with Sachogat. Another solo kill for Igntar.
Yeah, as he's just having I think a much nicer game than we expected beforehand. Really, did not look at a nice lane before the game started, but now just able to get another catch with those ruptures, and of course with the R2 and the feast, does have a surprising amount of solo to target damage and can just really burst these members out. As we have this herald being thrown down in the mid lane, Madmen trying to take down the third Frostbite. Do have a lot of members here to make sure that at least he doesn't fall just yet, but with this Jinx wave clear, it will just be another wave until it will be taken down over enemy. Still also try to go for it, maybe force a fight when this third is still up. They are able to secure the third, or save the third for now. But yeah, Madman don't really need to worry much. They do take a little bit of damage, but can just kite back and heal back up.
Turret is saved, but on the hunt, the Silver Ultimate is expanded here. As Madmen are looking to invade the jungle of Frostbite.
Yes, already trying to do some of this damage and taking away as much, making sure that Novanomi's farm need also will be taken down, as they have managed to make sure that the other lanes are also behind in the farm department. Now next dragon up will be Soul Point, so yeah, Madman now just trying to cleanly and calmly close out the game, as they're just trying to take everything away from Frostbite.
I mean, I guess the one silver lining that Frostbite can have is that it is going to be this Cloud Soul, which, I mean, while an impactful dragon, it's not like the most impactful for the comp that Madmen are currently running with. Like, it's just the bonus movement speed on ultimate casts. I don't. It's good for Cho'Gath, I guess, but like the other champions with what they're looking to do is not, that good. But still, I don't think having an not that optimal Dragon Soul is going to save Frostbite from what feels like their ensuing fate.
Yeah, it's. I think it is a rough one for Frostbite just so early on, already so far behind. I think it has stabilized a bit on 5,000 with Madman kind of just making some plays, and I think Frostbite right now are just sitting calmly, making sure that they don't get caught out even further. But yeah, it is just right now all Madman need to do is just wait for these objective timers and instantly take them away. As right now it is just already the mid lane third has actually fallen. In the meantime, as now it will be the Jinx and the Ra moving up to the top side to make sure the final tier 1 structure also falls.
Yes, and the second items are coming in here for the side of Madman. Azir going for the Triwise, which is currently his most built second item here. This Cho'Gath, very tanky right now, going for that second item Warmogs. No Liandry's yet in sight for Stereo, who is getting done.
Yeah, it is actually now quick getting engaged upon in the subside. Now he gets to do quite a good amount of damage, but he can just jump back towards his team, so is able to survive. And Nomanomi really just trying to hover around this Jarvan as much as possible, making sure that not too much of a fight can start, but as a result, it is just kind of 3 members constantly being here. As we have Mimic across the wall, flash away instantly from IM Stereo. Quick reactions there for the Orianna to save his own life, but he's still 2 levels behind both of the solo lane members, as now the slow actually lands for the side of Madman, as Dignitar can just walk on into, doesn't finish him off with the Feast, can just finish him off with the Flash although, and that is another kill. So now there's actually 4 members of Frostbite on this spot side. Stormbringer comes out by Novanomi. Now Cataclysm is also turned on as he is rooted up. The Jarvan will almost be taken down, but in the meantime it is still the Jinx raining out these auto attacks from a range, as Frostbite taking a lot of damage already. Jinx still has taken quite some damage as well, as he only have about half health, so I think the Frostbite are able to walk away. This Octagon is up, but in the meantime we do actually have Madman just pushing on this top side, already taking the tier 2, now also taking the inhibited turret. And yeah, it is 1 kill, but Frostbite losing so much as a result.
It's 1 kill, and the kill goes to the Volibear, not even on the Sivir. Meanwhile, Frostbite, Madman on the top side taking that tier 3 turret. It's a kill is something. The kill is on the Jarvan, so it's the only member without a shutdown on the side of Madmen, which is also a bit unfortunate for Frostbite. But I mean, even if the scaling comes up, this Jinx is at least 3,000 gold ahead, just purely by item wise. The Zier also sitting at about 2 to 3,000 gold lead, has his, as we said, his Raiwise finished, already sitting on a needlessly large rod.
Yeah, now push
As
away from Hutch, and then this top side. Root does land onto one as he dashes away from the both slows, so nice movement there. The Karma is able to survive as now they are going onto this Cho'Gath in the top side. Is Finry also there? Make sure they actually have the damage. Shockwave now thrown out. Slowed up. Cho'Gath nowhere he can go. Another airborne as they are able to secure the kill. So Frostbite do take this. As now the outcome will be taken on this top side though. So Frostbite will be losing out another objective as a result, but are able to take down another shutdown.
good kill, and most importantly, good shutdown going to Stereo. However, with the Atkan here dropping for Madman, Madman's lead right now sitting at, I mean, the good enough. The lead is still about 5,000 gold, which it was a bit earlier when we mentioned it. So it's not, at least the lead hasn't increased. And with now this turret, another gold bounty going to the side of Frostbite, the lead will drop down to 4,000. So there is some chance here still for the red team, but it is going to be very difficult as this Jinx is getting more and more items. If Frostbite can get some shutdowns on the Jinx, maybe on the Zier as well, then Mad's damage suddenly drops off, and this Cho'Gath and this Jarvan are decently kiteable. But as long as this Jinx is alive, it will be a very difficult team fight for the side of Frostbite as this Dragon Soul is currently spawning.
Yes, it is already a fight starting up here as the Cho'Gath walks forward. Two-man Shockwave is only onto the tanky members as Nova Nomi Oracle out across the wall now. Cataclysm onto Infinity Flash away from the Sivir as he tries to get those blades out. This nice sidestep there from the Rupture as Frostbite are still alive in this fight. I'm sorry, able to secure the kill onto Ice Arrow, but now it's Jinx has arrived and is getting the resets. Is already one for him. Minna getting another as it's another kill there for the Jinx. Is only the support left, but it's the Minnick wants to chase, wants to secure the kill, throwing out these soldiers, throwing out the ace for Madmen and Frostbite. They were able to kite around a little bit, but at the end it's Madmen just securing it. They will secure the soul, but they will most likely also secure the base.
1-4-5 team fight, Dragon Soul for the side of Madmen, bot lane inhibitor going down. This game is basically Madman's game to lose. Yes, the Jarvan does go down, the kill goes to Stereo, it is one of the players you want to get the kills, but it's still very difficult. Frostbite need at least 2 more items on each of their players to be able to go through this Cho'Gath, through this Jarvan. Meanwhile, this Jinx is ever so closer getting to that Infinity Edge, and Azir going for his death cap next.
Yeah, and I think one thing that may have fight around Frostbite a little bit is the fact that Sivir just barely didn't have the Infinity Edge just yet, and I think if had Infinity had it, it might have looked a little bit different because those blades would have just dealt so much more damage with the crit. So I think it would have looked different, but yeah, now with that fight being lost, Madmen once again cement their gold lead and are looking now to catch out the Karma who's underneath the turret. Nowhere he can go, nothing he can do. As yeah, Minnick just securing that kill. In the meantime, it is Nova Nomi still trying to force a play in this mid lane, but the Sivir and the Orianna aren't there, so he's just only slowly whittling through the Cho'Gath. As now it is Infinity and I am sorry showing up, but at this point, Cho'Gath is already safe underneath the turret as Madman now securing yet another tier 2 on this top side.
Yes, 4 people pushing the top side. This is looking like another inhibitor for the side of Madman. Yes, this Cho'Gath doesn't have any resistances yet, and the Volibear damage does deal a significant portion to it, but it's just... Volibear is not who you want to be dealing the damage to the Cho'Gath. You want your carries to be able to deal with him. Yes, Stereo finally has that Liandry's, so maybe he can start dealing something to him, but like I think it's a little bit too late by now.
Yeah, it's just a tough one for Frostbite for now, because the front to back is on the favor of Madman already, and now with this goal, it just becomes even more unsurmountable. And it is just now Madman deciding to go for the ARAM instead, just looking for the fight, hoping that Frostbite engages. They're just able to march forward. Is this a big shockwave there in the back as it is now going forward? It is the Glacier Fissure landing with this one kill already for Frostbite, as now the rest of Madman trying to go forward. It's nobody we called out the first, it's now his infantry low, called out by the Cataclysm and nowhere he can go, and it's then the Jinx who can clean up the fight. He's able to take down Hodgson, and both Sidisi and I Am Serio just forced to run away there, but with the fight now gone, it is just a support and a mid laner left. It is actually a 2 for 3 for now, so Frostbite can be fairly happy with that fight. However, it is actually gone, but for now it is still 3 members, especially the Jinx and the Azir still being alive. So Madmen looking to finish off, although the wave clear is good from this Orianna, so Madmen are not actually able to finish for now.
Yes, decent fight, good 2 kills, but once again, it's the Jarvan, it's the champion on the side of Madman that gives the least gold to Frostbite. Yes, they get the Braum shutdown. I think it was Hodgson who got that shutdown, but it's going to be still a very difficult game for Frostbite. Yes. Although Silver finally has that Infinity Edge, but so does the Jinx and the Web Scepter. And Cho'Gath also has his Hollow Radiance finished as well.
Yeah, so it's just Madman now deciding to take this Baron to make sure that the final chance that Frostbite has will be going away as Natural Security will just now start another march down this mid lane. Most likely hoping to take down us, with these double, triple inhibitors even. Yes, they will just have all of those super minions coming in.
Oh no, stuns the minion. Not the target you want.
Yeah,
just Cho'Gath.
Yeah, Frostbite now looking to end to see their ending, and Madman just walking forward. Nothing Frostbite can do. The wave clear from the Civ and the Orianna is good, but they can't shred through all these Baron up double super minion waves. As now it is also in the meantime Equinox on the side moving forward. There's so much focus coming down on these sisters from the Azir, from the Jinx. Heal away, Stormbringer forward is there for Novanomi as a lot of but now here comes Medic, 2 kills with the Emperor's Divide. It's into the base, take ho, and the fountain is not enough as the Cho'Gath can just stand there for so long. And Stereo is able to survive, but the base of Frostbite doesn't. As at the end, it is Madman just a clean first game, good draft, good execution, and overall just a good early game that made them get so far ahead.
Game 1 goes to Madman as the range advantage is just too big for Frostbite to deal with.
Yes. Yeah, as we are going for a bit of a break, so we will be back in a couple of minutes to get some tea, to get something to drink, and for the rest, so we will see you in a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
And welcome back again to this Frostbite stream. We are looking at Frostbite Equinox and Madmen Origins. But before we get back into the game, a quick update as Vulpes is still here. He will quickly update us on how the other games in the division are going.
So for the other games, at least the ones that are being streamed right now, Celestial Light are leading against Vortex Reborn Chaos 1-0 after game 1, and game 2 seems to be going to be following suit as a very interesting pick there. On the other stream that I'm currently following, which give me a second to just remember the team's names because they're a bit difficult to me, where we have Afterlife Quartz versus DPV. The game is still going, but Afterlife Quartz do have a very comforting lead and are looking to take game 1 at least.
Yeah, thank you for the update. As we are then going to go back to this game. It's actually dropped is already starting, so we don't have much time. But to quickly recap the last game, we saw a very, very dominating lead or win by the side of Madmen. I think they had a better draft, but they also just played the early game so much better. I think good movement by Azeros essentially just made them able to turn some of those early fights. And I think from that point on, Frostbite didn't really have any place to come back, and as a result, they also didn't. So just a clean game, good Jinx play, and yeah, just a good game by them. As the first bans have already been bans, I think are the exact same as last game. Not sure whether we also saw the Zac, but it is Illusion actually being first picked by Frostbite.
Yes, the bans are the exact same as the previous game. Ezreal, Zac, Amumu on the side of Frostbite. No, these bans are from Frostbite, yeah, and Urgot, Wukong, and Wu from the side of Madmen as first pick Lucian for Infinity. Which, at least I'm guessing it's for Infinity. It could still go mid lane. We've seen Lucian go in top lane as well. And an answer Misfortune for Levity. Misfortune is a Levity pick. He played it quite a lot in the previous split in the regular season, not so much in the playoffs. So it is a pick he is familiar with, and it's a pick that is actually really strong right now. Same as the solution, as Nautilus also gets locked in for the side of Madmen.
Yeah, so already a lot of lockdown for this Misfortune, just to make sure that whenever they actually catch someone out, it's just a clean ult. It is then the Nami picked up with Lucian, a classic combo. Although I will say I haven't liked Lucian in recent times. I do still think that together with the Nami, it is an early game threat. But as long as the Misfortune and the Nautilus essentially make sure they don't fight early too much, I think after a while, Lucian really just struggles towards the in the mid to late game. I feel like Lucian often can struggle so much, especially since he just doesn't really have any range, and also doesn't really have a lot of consistent damage. So I feel like the Lucian often falls off in the late game if he doesn't get so far ahead that he can just one tap someone with the calling. So it'll be interesting. I do think that with this fight, the late game Lucian will be a bit better. As right, has the draft just reset?
The death just disappeared.
No, exactly.
Oh.
Right. But I do like the vibe with this because together with Lucian, I think that they are able to sort of catch one person out really effectively. So perhaps looking for more of that combo, which I think they were doing towards the end of the late game, last game anyway, where they really just were trying to get onto individual members. But yeah, maybe this would be a good pickup as the Sejuani would just mean more tanking and more setup for this Misfortune. And yeah, Madman already just really looking to hold Frostbite still and make sure that the bullet time can just roll over everyone and one shot the entire team.
Yes, I feel like we're slowly getting pulled into a similar comp as the previous game, where yes, we have the Lucian and the Vi, but Madmen have drafted two relatively tanky champions. Obviously, Sejuani very tanky. Nautilus also one of the tankier supports we have. Not exactly as tanky as Aliona per se, but like still one of the tankier ones. And this Lucian, not really known for his tank killing. Like, yes, he can deal with squisher targets really well, especially with the Nami buffs, with the Nami, with the help from the Nami. But if this Lucian doesn't get ahead, he's gonna struggle quite a lot going through this Sejuani, through this Nautilus, and just about any other champion that Frostbite, Madmen, excuse me, might pick up for the top side. As the second rotation bans one top laner, one mid laner each. Ari and Malphite banned from the side of Madmen, while Syndra and Dr. Mundo banned from the side of Frostbite.
Yeah, I mean, especially the Ari just makes a lot of sense here, because Ari Vi is just a very, very strong combo. It just works so well with what the comp
Yes.
already does for Frostbite, so it makes sense to get that ban as we actually have the Cassio being picked up for Madman, so looking to get even more team fighting. Just I think Madman, like you said already, just having such a similar comp to Duskin, perhaps a bit more single target focused. But overall, it is just a very similar comp where it's looking to skill it up till the mid to late game and then play some strong front to back team fights and win that way.
Blind pick Cassiopeia is an interesting one, as it will be answered by the Swain. I'm not like this Swain could go mid, go top. Let's see what the last pick is for the side of Frostbite, so we can. It could be another flex pick. Who knows? But I feel like Frostbite need a tank, need an engage, like need something like an Ornn, for example.
Yeah,
Something
I
that
think
can just engage on top of this MF and Cassiopeia.
yeah.
Cannon.
All right. Well, I was about to say that they do need some damage, and I'm not sure whether cannon is really the damage they need. I think for Frostbite, it's a comp that has potential because if they, I think it's a comp that is quite good at getting onto the Casio and the MF. So if they can just get onto these backline targets now, they do have a lot of tools to sort of deal with it. With of course the slicing maelstrom, the cease and assist. So I think if they can catch out these backlane champions, then they have a good chance. But I do think that they are gonna lack in the damage department quite heavily. And yeah, especially with now this Galileo coming in, if ever they are pulled into a front to back team fight, then they're just going to they just have no way to deal with the Sejuani and the Galileo before Misfortune and Cassiopeia are able to just destroy the entire team. So yeah, I think Frostbite they need to have good team fights at them and just some good positioning around these team fights because otherwise there's no way they're actually gonna get anything done in these team fights because they're just never gonna shred through the front line.
The team comp here for the side of Frostbite is very strange to me. I feel like I can. I don't know. I feel like some of these picks don't really synergize with the others. I can kind of see Vi and Swain combo working. Obviously, Vi ults a target or just hits target with a Q. Swain then follows up with his E. You get the damage through, you get the CC, and maybe you kill someone. The problem is, you mentioned that the team fights and Kennen and Lucian just running in. I feel like Kennen is gonna have a very, very hard time running into this. The Cassiopeia Miasma, the Sejuani lockdown, the Nautilus lockdown, just Galio ulting in with that heroic entrance from the side lanes. Yes, and for the side of Frostbite, they have the big circles. They have the Swain ultimate with the Cannon ultimate, and Lucian and Cannon can probably burst down a priority target really quick. But this does really feel like a team comp that if it doesn't snowball in the early game, it just gets completely outscaled by this Cassiopeia, as all of these champions are super low range champions. They need to play into the Cassiopeia, which Cassiopeia exactly wants. One big petrifying gaze will just probably destroy all of these three squishy targets that they have for top, mid, and AD carry. Of course, if the Vi gets a few good ganks off, get the skin ahead on top lane against this Cassiopeia, maybe there's a chance where this Cassius put behind. There's a chance Frostbite can win later on team fights, and when this Twain eventually outscales, because for the side of Madmen, they don't really have that much burst damage. Like, yes, you have MF and you have Galio, but Cassio is the only real damage threat to the Swain. If this Swain gets a lead, if this Swain doesn't get punished in the early game, it's gonna take a Cassio, and even then, it's gonna take a lot. Like, Cassio is going to need 3 or 4 items because if this Swain goes a little bit of magic resist, as Cassio being the primary magic damage here, it's gonna be very hard for him to go down. But of course, if it all depends, I feel like this game is all depending on the top lane. Depending on how top lane goes and which jungler can get their top lane ahead, that's what's going to decide the game.
Yeah, I will say I'm not actually sure whether this Cassio is actually going top because it might also just go mid. So I think it will be interesting to see how the Galio and Cassio actually divide the lanes because Galio top is actually possible. We saw it earlier today, actually in the ADC even. So we'll have to wait a little bit longer before we can confirm how the Galio and the Cassio exactly are going to be set up. But for the rest, I think you are right, and especially it will be corrected if they aren't able to shut down the Swain and team fights, and it will be really frustrating, especially because once essentially the map or the Cassio is down, it will just be so incredibly difficult for them to deal with, as it is indeed the Galio top and the Cassio in the mid lane. So yeah, I think Galio would have been fine in either matchup because I think Swain and the Cannon, I think early games are fairly similar, slightly different training patterns, but yeah, I think for Frostbite it's really important to make sure that they can get the MF and the Casio, and then just have the swing kind of be chilling in a team fight and slowly healing up while burning down these members. But yeah, I think we might see some very long team fights.
Yes, I mean, yes, the Cassio matchup is much better on the mid lane. Obviously, Cassio will outrange the Swain and outdamage him early on. I'm not sure about the top matchup though. I feel like this matchup will be very heavily cannon focused, and I'm not sure if. I mean, the ganks should probably be fine. Obviously, Galio, a melee champion, can help stack the Sejuani E passive, but I do think, even still, this game will be decided based on how ahead Hodgson is on this cannon. If the cannon falls behind, these fights are going to be very, very difficult for the side of Frostbite. But if this cannon is ahead and is able to find off those flanks, is able to get these big uh, lightning storms on the Cassiopeia and the Misfortune, this Frostbite will have a very good chance in winning this game.
Yeah. No, the dynamic front, but they do have a lot more damage at least. So they have a lot of different tools that allow them in these fights. But yeah, it will be a tough one. I think we are almost getting at the game. It should have been about the delay is almost going to be done. But no, I mean Frostbite. I think that they have that comp is more interesting than last game. I think that they at least they have standard lane assignments and yeah, I think that they have a good chance. But if we see sort of how the early game last game went, because I do think that how the early game last game went wasn't too much champion specific. I think that had the champion been swapped last game, we would have seen a similar-ish early game. So yeah, I think it will be interesting to see whether this time Frostbite can do a better job. Because I think last game Izar just really was in the right place in so many of these fights in the early game. So I think it's going to be really important that Frostbite are able to essentially make sure that Sejuani doesn't arrive at the perfect time each time. And if they make a play, then the play is actually clean and they don't have a jungler interrupting halfway through.
Yes, I agree. But we'll see how the games go, because as we saw, one wrong step, one good counter gank, and the entire game gets turned around.
Yes. Yes, I mean, yeah, one thing I quickly reading the chat that Stevo correctly says is that the Galio will just stop the cannon really heavily with essentially everything he wants to do. So it will be. I do think that Hodgson has a bit of a difficult lane in some points, but if you can just kind of auto attack the Galio, we might still have a chance. But yeah, I think it's once again going to be really important how are actually going to perform, because if we see some good ganks, then it can really change. But I definitely do think that the Nautilus doesn't have as much protection as the Braum, of course. So yeah, Zepti needs to watch out a lot more when he actually gets ganked, because last game we just saw the Braum in some of those ganks just kind of standing in front of the Jinx with the shield and making sure that no damage really was able to come in from Infinity. So yeah, that's a lot. I believe we are almost getting into the game, but I'm not sure what the delay is for now. So just bear with us for a second. Yeah, so we're loading in. Yeah, the Lucian will need to play well, but yeah, so it takes a second longer. Yeah, I mean, I think I never quite liked Lucian myself because I feel like he just struggles so much in some of in these late game fights. Because I feel like now a lot of people just recognize that against Lucian, just need to make sure you don't really fight early game, or kind of try to catch him out when he goes forward himself, and then you're fine. So yeah, I think Nami's still a strong sport, but um, I just really do think that Lucian is going to fall. We are finally getting into the game, and we're getting into a pause.
We got in game, and the game is paused. So going through the to the runes real quick. Issues and others. We see Lucian with the electrocute, which is interesting. Not what I would have gone against this team. You'd probably need some more consistent damage on this Lucian. On the other hand, overall pretty stock standard runes for the side of Madmen. Triple. I forgot the name of the rune.
Aftershock, yeah, triple Aftershock.
Thank you, because who needs to play tanks? Aftershock, fake rune, am I right? Triple Aftershock for the side of Madmen versus double Electrocute on the side of Frostbite. Feels like a very severe mismatch, but we'll see. This, as I said, this Swain could very well be a thorn in the side of Madmen if he gets ahead, if he just goes unpunished in the laning phase.
Yeah. I will say I think I do understand the point of this Ignite on Lucian because essentially like his damage against the tanks isn't the most like what he wants to do is one shot either the Cassiopeia or the Misfortune because even if he picks something like the Presence of Mind, his damage against these tanks will still be fairly low. And yeah, sure, like you're able to deal with it a bit more effectively, but if he now is just able to one-shot this MF in some of these fights, then his job is essentially done because that MF has more value in the rest of the fight than he has. And at that point, I Am Stereo can just kind of chill in the fights and use his ultimate, and they only really have Cassiopeia to deal with. So I think Infantry might just hope to blow up one of either Mimic or Levity, and then perhaps just be okay with dying. And yeah, the Electrocute works quite well for that. So I understand it. It might have still not been my first pick, but I see why he picked it. We're going into another pause right as we were getting into actually moving. So yeah, just bear with us for a little bit more.
I mean, everybody's just leaving the game, it seems. But yes, the Lucian is in a really strong spot right now. Even with the last patch, did get some nerfs to his E's cooldown, but those nerfs don't seem to have knocked him out of the priority for the ADCs. I'm surprised that none of these ADCs decided to pick Senna, who is also really strong right now in the current meta. But yes, I get Lucian will have a very hard job trying to kill this Misfortune though. Like I agree that Lucian killing MF, because MF would have much more use than him in overall team fights. The problem is he's going to have a very tough time. I've played against Levity's MF. He's not just gonna randomly walk around you. Like he will play on the edge of the team fight. He will just keep find a good spot to ult, use that bullet time to full effectiveness. And he does have the team, like the wombo combo here is crazy. The Sejuani ultimate, the Cassiopeia ultimate, the Gali ultimate dropping down. Like the setup for this MF in this game is really big. And with Frostbite having a team comp that wants to run in to Mad with the Swain, with the Kennen, with the Vi, even with the Lucian, like the biggest counterplay is Nami has to have perfect ultimates to cancel these MF ultimates. Otherwise, these fights once again are going to be very, very difficult for the side of Frostbite.
Yes, as we do, and now also have the minimap actually on the right side for those people who are frustrated with it last game. But I mean, I do think that there actually are a lot of ways to actually cancel this MF ultimate. But none of them are just like super quick, so I do think that Levity will most of the time still get some value or most of the value out. Because of course you have the Nami bubble or Nami ult, which both take a second to arrive. Novanomi, if you can get the season assist down, will also take a second, and also if Harshan gets the flank with the slicing illustrum, won't proc the stun instantly. So I do think that there's a lot of ways that Frostbite can deal with the ultimate, but they kind of need to predict it or go in before it happens because otherwise Lefty will still just get a couple waves at least forward, and Frostbite will take a lot of damage from it. So yeah, I mean Frostbite, I will give him a better chance in the last game, but still it will be interesting as actually Nalda's already creeping up behind the onto the Lucian already. They doing a lot of damage onto him, and Infinity really having to run away there. So good early plays, of course. Before entry his level 2, can't really get away from his hooks consistently.
Yeah, Frostbite not respecting the Nautilus, just walking to the brush, getting a good hook onto the Lucian, getting a good gold lead in the HP lead in the other game, and another quick hit solution. Fast glance by Infinity.
Yes, it's a flash away, but it's Sissy still called out there. It's not even the hook went onto the Nami, but just too squishy without the W, I think, up. And now it is just already the first blood. Now also in the mid lane, flash away from I Am Serio. So Frostbite in so much trouble already 2 minutes in.
This one probably worse than the previous game, the start. Sadisty going down, not even using any of her summoners. Stereo forced to block his flash early from Minix level 2 power spike. It is a very, very bad start for the Frostbite team.
Yes. I mean, we also see now the cannon getting knocked up a little bit, but he's the one that currently is more fine. Will take some damage from the Galio as comes down once again with that Doran's shield. Is just able to sustain through a lot of what Arsene is doing. So he will just be fine, but yeah, Frostbite does just fall behind, and especially this bot lane kind of wants to get ahead in the early game with Lucian, and already losing the skill will just hurt so much as Lefty can be a problem. As now once again it is the Cassiopeia going forward, gets slowed up by the ice though, so AM Stereo was able to walk away, but still the Swain really falling so low from the Cassiopeia already.
This Cassiopeia early damage is really paying a number on Stereo. Gets, I want to say he gets lucky due to Cassiopeia running out of mana. See a fight.
Lefty going forward onto the Misfortune. Now we do have Vladimir good sidestep though there for Nala still in trouble though, as Infinity able to secure the kill with the piercing light. So nice game there, and this time no ice arrows to punish. And yeah, Frostbite gets their first kill and gets something back in this game.
Good early game here, but as I think Stereo's just dead here.
Yeah. Flash forward from ice arrows. No flash left for I Am Stereo, and it's just an easy pickup by the Sejuani. We do actually have 2 members now here in this bushes. It is the bubble landing by also going forward. We do have the Cassiopeia in the mid lane, but doesn't have too much mana left still with him there. Frostbite can't go too far forward, so at the end it will just be the Sejuani running away, but a good little engage there, and Novanomi showing us some damage in the early game.
Yes, unfortunately it's 2 of the champions on the side of Frostbite that don't really deal that much damage, so the Sejuani isn't really pressured. But yeah, a good early kill for Infinity this game. Getting a lead on the solution is one of their win cons, getting that pickaxe and longsword compared to the Vamp Scepter on the side of Levity. But we will see if the solution will be able to snowball this slight lead that he has currently in items, or if Mad's bot lane will just play it safe, as Kui is missing both his summoners and Levity doesn't have his barrier, still has the flash though, while on the other side Sadisti has both of her summoner spells, Infinity still has his flash, and the lane's coming back soon.
Yeah, we do have Izaros going forward here onto the Nami, but the rest of the Madmen bot lane wasn't really close to help there, so at the end Sadisti is just able to walk away with of course the extra move speed, as we now have the gank in that mid lane, but the Bolt Breaker is cancelled. Good, I guess, move away there from the pattern, I guess, but he goes for it again, and another Bolt Breakers now with the move speed. He can just claim the kill. Minix securing it in the mid lane, and it was a tragic gank there from Novanomi. Now it is in the bot lane though. It is the Misfortune in trouble. Has to use the flash to get away. And in the meantime, we do have another trying to secure the kill, as we do have a pause in the middle of the play due to some IRL problems, and we get a bit to breathe. But that gank from Novanomi was painful.
Novanomi just from bad to worse, trying to gank the Cassiopeia with the Vault Breaker, gets a Miasma thrown on him, The gank falls through, then Cassiopeia misses with the ultimate, only gets the slowdown. NerfWaluigi sees both of those down, tries to go in. Minik just flashes away from the second Vault Breaker, hits the Q, and just runs NerfWaluigi down with the Serpent Fang spam. And it's just, it is not going well.
No, this is not what you want to see for Frostbite. And we do also have still a fight going on in the bot lane. So I think he will survive here. But yeah, it's interesting to see how this is going to come out. But I mean, Minik is also one of those members that they kind of want to get the early lead, and now with the skill and the assist already, can just start stacking it. And I mean, NerfWaluigi, I think a lot of us good. Actually, no, we didn't have it in the bot lane. We taken the kill after Sadisty, having the hook up as we see for pushing forward while we get the pause of the pause.
The spectator pause. I don't think Infinity gets the kill here. This MF, he doesn't have the mana, and I don't think he has the damage to kill her. Unless his electrocute is up, but I can't really tell if that's the case.
Yes, we will have to wait a bit more for the action, but it does indeed seem like Infinity will be taken out as well. Doesn't have the classes almost up as now he actually affects the minions there, and now also in trouble. The auto decks coming down from Levity, securing the kill, and Frostbite. It looked good for a quick second, but now it's all falling apart once again, and we just have several fights not going their way across the map. And Hodgson, the only one who hasn't really fallen, has been able to keep a fairly clean early game, but will just be so much far behind once again. So, I mean, Frostbite is having a really, really rough series, and Madmen just playing so absolutely cleanly. It just sides up so much, and like Ikentar has left the game. We don't see the pause actually, so now we have a fight in the mid lane with the ultimate. Demonic essentially used from the Swain, as we do have the pause finally coming in, and Signatar was just AFK running back to base. So, a bit unlucky there, as Frostbite do get another kill. Signatar is just going to go for a bit of a stroll.
Huge solo kill for Stereo. Minik overstaying with no summoners and no ultimate. This delayed falls from the side of Madmen is weird. We saw Iknutar DC'd like 10 seconds ago, and I don't know why this pulse was delayed so much. But big solo kill for the Swain. This is what Frostbite wants. This Swain will be one of the main carries, at least in the late game. We all know Swain, once he gets a few of those items, will become like, he will want to face tank. We've mentioned that Frostbite's team wants to play forward, which would be a problem against Cassiopeia. However, we have to mention as well that Mad have 3 melee champions and a very short range mage in the face of Cassiopeia, which is also really, really good for this Swain and how he wants teamfights to go. If Stereo can get a good enough lead going forward in this game, he could be one of the carries for, he could be the main carry for Frostbite, as they secure the first dragon of the game.
Yeah, this time Izero's not jumping in at the last second to secure the kill onto the dragon. As it is now Frostbite, yeah, I will say, I was Doom talking them a little bit already, but have improved a little bit here. So doing again, see Ignitar just going forward with the Catalyst of Leads is just able to have a lot of sustain, a lot of mana. And right now Hodgson just can't do much against the Galio. But yeah, Frostbite at least finding something. I think last game they really just fell behind without much relief. And right now they are 2k behind, which is worse than what we saw in the last game. But looking showing at least a bit more signs of life. So I won't call them out of this game just yet. But it will be a tough one to come back from, as we do now have the Swain landing another route, and yeah, just wanting to go for the short trains unless he has the ultimate up to just chase down the Cassiopeia. We do actually have another route landing. Also the depth charge being thrown out onto the bullet time. But Infinity, he just stands in it the entire time. He wants to walk out of it, but every time he just wants to perfectly move back, as now he's also Nanami in trouble. His flash is used way too late as he still tanks the auto attack. As Frostbite, it's just another clean play there from the Div 3 champions from last season. Also the Giant trouble in the jungle as the Glacier Prison is used. He is able to flash away, so he is able to survive. but it is just Frostbite being taken across the map now. It might actually be a cache in this jungle though. For the side of Frostbite is now it is the root land. But going forward, Hero's Entrance is thrown out. The Defy is in a little bit of trouble. Gets knocked up. Will be taken down first, but now this is the cannon and the Swain here. This is a flash away from one. Ice Arrows already. Ignitar will run away, but still has those stacks from the Eye of the Storm on him. Will be stunned up at the end, but it is a 1-for-1 for Mad at the end, so they're not too frustrated about it, especially with the play in the bot side.
Good 1-for-1 for Frostbite. This is the kills they want to get. The kill goes to Hudson, but I have to mention the fail flash from Stereo. He failed to flash the buff wall, and that's the main reason why I0 managed to escape that fight. But also Infinity on that bot lane fight, walking in and out of the.
Yes, we actually have another fight going down though. Is a hook landing, but at the end nothing's happening. We have the Vi also here going in onto the Sejuani, trying to do the damage onto the tanky member, but with all of those giant spells, there is a lot of health to go through, and at the end we do hopefully have a bit more time to breathe, but so far it hasn't been given to us.
No, and looking at the build items coming in, Cassiopeia already has that Serap's Embrace finished, looking to stack that up as no longer gets cut out at the groups.
Yeah, knocked up there by the engage from the Sejuani, taken down, and yeah, it's just another catch. And I think Madmen, they've been playing cleanly, but Frostbite also just getting called out a bit too much, and that is just a bit of a sleep play there. Didn't have the vision, didn't have the members close enough, and would just be taken down as a result. So yeah, now Madmen 3.3k gold lead, 3.5k gold lead roughly now with these void grubs going down. Don't have a dragon, and actually didn't get all 3 void grubs, so at least the feet aren't yet gone for Frostbite, but it will be tough as they need to also secure the first third, which so far has been going, I think, inside of how it is. Hook landing, grounded, depth charge also, the damage being thrown out, the demonic session only now being thrown out, but he's taken down before he can even do much with it, and it's another kill, clean gang there by Kui, who's just been having a wonderful series so far. Another good hook there as he's just landing them all and securing another kill in the mid lane.
Kui is just everywhere on the Nautilus, so many good plays all around the map, and Stereo gets caught. Like, what can you do here? He finishes finally his first item, the Blackfire Torch, but I think it needs to be mentioned the farm difference in the bot lane is a bit absurd right now. 37 CS in the lead for Levity, sitting at 9 CS a minute right now is just insane. This MF, again, he's once again ahead, 4-0-0, a repeat from last game. Already has the bot thruster completed, is just going to completely sustain through everything. Once again, it's a very tough game going for the side of Frostbite, and Mad are looking to cleanly finish off, to cleanly scale into the mid game where they can fight these team fights their comp is meant to do.
Yes, it's already 4k for Madmen. Looking for this Drake. The Drake thing hasn't been too quick for them yet. Actually, no, this dragon has been up for a while, I think. So there's at least one thing that has been going for Frostbite. It's just the damage coming out there from Lefty, the double up landing and chunking Sadisty to about half health. As now the hook lands onto the Vi already, as it is actually the Nautilus being the one engaged upon Madmen. Not everybody able to join. They do secure that dragon, but it will be the Lucian in trouble. We do have the Hero's Entrance coming out. There's now Infantry. Has the flash away. Finally, Nautilus falls in the middle of the fight. We do have the Vi going in, but he can't do anything. He's taken down now. Maelstrom doesn't do enough as it is blowing time. Not really landing onto anyone as it's not like a kill coming in for the mid laner from I Am Stereo, and now it is Madmen having to run away. So Frostbite are able to win that fight, but it's a messy one at that. Lefty didn't get anything with the bullet line.
Very good fight for the side of Frostbite. Yes, the dragon goes over to Mad, but the ensuing fight, 2-for-1 for the side of Frostbite. A very good bubble from the side of Sadisty. Hits a 2-man bubble, which spells the Doom for Ignitar. A good ult from Hearthstone, but this cannon still doesn't really do the damage that it needs to turn team fights. Stereo shows up with the Demonic Ascension, gets the kill onto the Galio, and is looking to scale up into the drain tank that Swain is.
Yes, yeah. And at the end, I think the one thing that could have changed the fight is that Hudson actually just gone for the flank there instead of coming in from the front. He could have really caused a lot of havoc there, but now he kind of came in from the front and didn't really stun anyone. As now it is actually the bubble landing. Sidestep is not enough though for Infinity. He gets stunned up. Halo Bullets isn't doing enough, but it is he's still caught out, has to flash away, but at the end of this, just Frostbite losing out the fight on the bot lane so heavily, even though nothing really was expanded there by Madmen. So just showing the advantage from this MF now with that bot thresher, just has so much healing for himself and can just sustain through these fights so effectively. Now we do have another gank on this top side, but Ikensaw is too far away for Nova to do it.
And first turret goes down for the side of Madmen. I think that secures, yes, that will secure the feeds for them, the boot upgrades, as they are looking to invade for this red buff.
Yeah, I think just do a similar thing to what we saw them do last game. Just try to take as much away from Frostbite as they can. Start them out as much as possible. As it will actually be in the night, is Amsterio able to walk up quickly enough and make sure that he can't go too far. As we do have another hook landing onto the Sway, now thrown out of the Madmen position after he has flashed away though, so a bit of an unnecessary use of abilities there. Could have just used one of them, but now has used both, so will be a bit squishy for a while now. And needs to watch out for another hook from Kree coming in, and it will be tough, as at the end it is just surviving, and we go back to a bit calmer state.
We is so good on this Nautilus, just forcing summoner spells everywhere he goes. Goes mid, like I think this is the second time he forces Stereo's flash just by throwing a hook and hitting. And now with Levity here on the lane, he has the Bloodthirster, he's halfway through his the item that Lucian has, sorry, the Essence Reaver, and this MF, she is farming up quite well, has the Boots of Swiftness. And are we going to see a dive? Probably not, I don't think that's a good idea against this Cassiopeia.
Yeah, it would be a tough one. Actually, we do have 4 members from Madmen moving towards this mid lane, but Frostbite, having recognized the danger, will just back away themselves. But yeah, I think right now Levity just not much they can do against him, as this Bloodthirster just means that he can survive for so incredibly long. Really just needs some anti-heal right now, I think, to deal with him realistically, but haven't really picked up any of it yet. And it is actually this guy who has gone for a slightly more damage heavy build, didn't go the Hollow Radiance first, but instead went for the Rod of Ages, so going to do a tiny bit more damage than he normally does will, I think, go for more taking this from here on out, but just grabs some AP for himself for the rest of the game.
Yes, I mean, overall, the damage, like yes, Frostbite do have burst damage, but I don't think he needs to be worried that the Roll of Ages, and he is going for Magic Resist right now, so this Galio will still be very hard to kill. Obviously, this Lucian, as we said, not exactly the tank killer. It's going to be very difficult for him to go through this Galio, this Tejuani and this Nautilus, even the Cassio. Now with the Raiwa is complete, with the Seraph's Embrace fully stacked, will be also very tanky.
Yes, yeah, just a lot of health coming in from those abilities. Of course, also the nice shield from that Seraph's Embrace. So a lot he has is. We now have the Dragon almost up. Teleport into the mid lane already from I Am Serious. So Frostbite looking to fight here. He is looking for the hook already, but it is instead Frostbite going for it onto the taken down. Depth charges there. Shields do not do anything as it's Kree already taken down. And now Frostbite, first to move on the fight, are able to just take this dragon now. We do have Madmen kind of looking, hoping to get something of a fight, but with the 5v4, they don't want to risk it for now. Slowly moving forward, looking for a big bullet time. Is now the Demonic Ascension to the front line. Bullet time coming out as it's already 2 kills, 3 kills coming in from Madmen. With all of the AoE coming down now, flash away from Infinity as they just get the dragon as a result as well. And Frostbite, they had a nice catch, but the AoE was too much, and they were too split. And Madmen just have a massive fight, a massive Drake, and now the gold lead jumps even higher.
Frostbite go for the fight. Instead of finishing off the dragon, they get completely wiped out from this team fight. This Misfortune ultimate, as we mentioned, yes, Swain wants to tank people, but you don't want to be full tanking 3 members plus the MF ultimate. Gets a big team fight. I think it was a delayed ace eventually, and they get this Cloud Dragon as well as a consolidation prize, as an extra prize.
Yeah, indeed. Had they just finished the Drake there, would have been so much. I think, of course, they would have still lost the fight. I think, but had they just kind of sat back, waited, tried to burst on Drake and have everyone just run away, they might have just one or two members. But now going for this fight, just running into the MF without anyone actually getting onto the MF is just the last thing you want because they just do so much damage. And then have Minik also free hitting. It just was such a free fight, I think, for Madmen. And yeah, this is what happens if you don't get the right setup. You just get absolutely demolished in these team fights. And now it is 7k gold lead for Madmen. About 2 dragons already. Not yet the sole point, so that is at least something for Frostbite, but still, it will just mean that the next fight coming on will be even harder to fight for Frostbite with this MF just having so much gold. Also, the Cassiopeia just having so much gold. And yeah, and now we do actually have the Oblivion Orb coming in, and we actually might have Fortune in trouble in this top side. I could start looking for the plays. In the meantime, we do have a fight on this bot side. We do have the demonic session being used, but still so much damage coming in from the Cassiopeia. Now Bullet Time coming in, try and do the damage. This is Season 6 underneath the third, though, so the fight will still fall. Another kill coming in as Squeeze secures the kill. Death Charge going forward onto Affinity. He is actually too far away already, but it is there for the Misfortune, of course, has so much speed for herself, but can't use it at the end. So it is just Madmen settling for the Octagon, but yeah, Frostbite just can't get the play there, didn't have the damage to deal with winning.
The double anti-heal items are here, and Stereo is not as tanky as he hopes to be. Also, Novanomi with that, I'm not sure what I guess he thought he was dead, so he might as well use his spells. Uses the Season Desist on the Sejuani who is under her turret. I don't know, I feel like Frostbite are trying too hard things that they know won't be working, and at this point the game feels kind of over. This Misfortune, this Cassiopeia well into 2.5 items, this Galio finally has his Hollow Radiance, and the Mercury Threads. He is pretty well unkillable right now. I don't know, this game looks very difficult, and this time there is no, fallback scaling, there is no Silver. There is a Swain, but Swain doesn't scale as well as you'd expect from the Silver, and on the other hand is that Cassiopeia, who is an extremely good late game carry. It's looking very difficult.
Yeah, it's just right now, Madmen, they are playing such a clean game. Frostbite don't have anything to respond to it right now, and they do now just look for something, and it might actually be another catch here. Kui landing the hook onto the Vi. Hudson also, actually not Hudson, it's Igntar coming in with the taunt as now the Misfortune runs, secures the kill. The Tidal Wave doesn't do anything. Kui actually misses, I think, his first hook of this game, but it is still just another catch for Madmen who are looking for another play. There's actually nothing for them to get off of the pick. As actually his Infinity now in the mid lane, absolutely unnecessarily being thrown out as well. But the other attacks just do more from the MF. Levity securing yet another kill now, so this team might also be in trouble. But it's just able to float away there. But it's just Madmen, they can just run across the map. They can take whatever they want. They can take any fight they want pretty much and win it. As now it's another hook landing from Kui onto the Swain. Has to flash across the wall, so I'm Stereo is able to survive at the end. But it's just Kui absolutely having a field day on this Nautilus, and overall Madmen just playing such a beautiful game.
Nautilus is literally built different. I feel like his hook is a point and click spell because, as you said, I don't think he's missed a single one. And the ones that didn't hit enemy champions have hit the walls, so like there's still escape mechanisms. But yeah, just hook after hook. First Novanomi gets caught in his own jungle, can't even check his blue buff. Then it was the Disty, I think, that got caught, and now once again in their own jungle.
Yeah, just why are you there? Walking in, Madman clean catch, and yeah, it will take another Drake. Frostbite kind of out of answers, but Madman also not providing them any angle here to come back. It will actually be a fight here, slicing Mushroom used, and Fury also showing up to try and catch out Ignataar. Cutting use, trying to do as much damage, but the Galio fairly tanky flash forward as well. A flash across the wall doesn't actually hit, so Ignataar taken down at the end. But now it is I Am Serio also in trouble using the double against, just trying to get some move speed to get out, but still hit with the Glacial Prison, as now it is just Levity walking forward on the other side of the wall. Kui is waiting to make sure the Swain can't actually run away. Levity securing yet another kill in this series. Absolutely domination from the bot lane from Madmen, and they are just able to get another kill, another Drake, another fight, and now looking to get another game.
Icknutar fails his flash, flashes straight into the wall, dies, gives a kill over to the cannon actually. On the other side though, as I said, this anti-heal item coming in for Levity as well as for Munich. It's just, yes, the Swain is tanky, we saw how much he survived even with the anti-heal, but it's just 1v3 at this stage, it's just not enough, it's not there. Maybe if his team was a bit as strong as him, maybe this cannon, 3-in-1 has the 2 items now, maybe it could turn something, it could do something, but it's looking very difficult.
Yeah, as now is once again Madman looking for a fight, looking to push, just looking for something, as Frostbite just kind of trying to clear these waves now. Don't actually have as much wave clear as they had last game, so Madman might just be able to force a bit easier, but right now it doesn't actually look like they want Hook actually. Misses from Kui, as Frostbite just are able to sidestep it collectively, but with this Baron now up, it will be another one going down, but it's 2-man knockup there, watch his rest line, bullet time coming across, it's just 1 kill already, Novanomi just got out, flash forward with the hook onto the Nandami, no real follow-up though, so it's not the most useful one, but in the meantime it's Ignazar also fighting in this jungle, now the damage is there on Sadisty, as he's taken down. In the meantime Ignazar still keeping the rest of Frostbite busy. It is now first Hushin taken down, Stun also lands onto the ADC as Infinity gets taken down. I'm serious, the only one really left as he meets with Levity, but Levity just bursts through him almost entirely. Is able to survive at the end, but still it is Madman now with the kills, with the push, looking to take as much as they can. Might not be able to take the base, but will definitely take a lot of these inhibitors.
Yes, this game looks pretty much done. This was probably the first actual resemblance of a team fight that we have. I don't think it was exactly a 5v5, as there was basically 3 people trying to deal damage to Icknutar while the rest of Mad were killing off Novanomi and Sadisti on the blue side of the map. But yes, this will be 2 inhibitors down, and slowly but surely Mad are looking to win game 2 of the series.
Yeah, I don't think there's much that actually can stop them at this point, because I mean they have a 14k gold lead. They didn't actually take the Baron yet, not have the soul just yet, so it's not like they have everything going for them, but yeah, it would just be a matter of time before they will take it. Stu seems to be moving towards the Baron now. With the Cassiopeia and with the MF, will have absolutely no troubles getting through it. So yeah, it is. Novanomi might actually be getting caught in the jungles again, as there is the control there will be cleared out now by Sadisty. So Novanomi, why are you there? Is able to walk away, so it won't be caught out, but it is Frostbite now. On the wrong side again, as it's just Sadisty and Novanomi just on the wrong side so consistently now, and it will be the Nami calls out, gets rooted up, will be hooked up actually the hook lands onto Lucian. Heroes Enter is now coming forward as the death charge is thrown out at the end of Infinity. He's able to run away if there's the colleague, but lands onto the Nautilus as Sadisty was just surrounded there on that top side, as it was able to temporarily run away, but can't do much more than that. It is actually Novanomi still on the other side of this map, was able to survive for now, maybe looking for a cheeky steal, but will have to get an absolute miracle. Now flash away there from I'm Serio from Ignazar. It's 2 members versus 3. Big fighting was from is there, but the Miasma does a lot still though. It is Frostbite looking to take some kills, as now Ignazar the only one left, can't dash away, so he's taken out in the meantime. Novanomi is he called out the same tar, was able to flash across the wall there now. It's pretty trying to dash forward, can't actually secure the kills, the vision isn't there, and now Kui trying to make sure that this cannon can't run away. Ignazar lefty shows up to secure yet another kill for himself. The MF trying to run after some of these members, as now, oh, it's time Serio calls out 1 auto attack, 2 auto attack secures the kill for the MF's fortune. And it's just Levity having an absolute lovely day. Fed in game 1, fed in game 2, and is just able to one-tap everything. Now Baron will be next on the cards. And yeah, Madmen, they just look so strong in these fights.
Really look catch by the side of Frostbite. A very, very big shutdown for Stereo in that fight. But it's just, I'm not sure what NerfWaluigi was doing exactly. Like, he had a flank, like he had a way behind the pit, and then while his teammates were killing off Minik and Niknotar, suddenly he gets caught by the three members that were around the Baron from the side of Mad, and he just dies. I'm not really sure what happened there. Yes, Frostbite failed to get the kill onto Ignatar. I guess if they got it, maybe it would have been a bit more worth. But now Baron for Mad, and it's just going to be... And the Dragon Soul is getting secured by iZero.
Yeah, that will also just be the soul. So even more move speed now coming in when a single ability is used. As this actually Madmen started to move forward. I mean, Frostbite, they have been able to lay at least. I think it could have been a much quicker game, but Madmen have been keeping them alive, I think, for quite long. But I mean, it will just be very, very soon that they are actually able to close out this game, I imagine. And yeah, right now, Frostbite, they're just, I think, or at least they should just mentally be there next week already, because right now there's not much you can do. Right now, kind of, you just need to accept the defeat and make sure that you can at least get there next week. Because of course, they do still want to make these playoffs, make a longer run in the season, and a loss like this really needs you really can get you down. So they are looking for something, looking to defend this top third at least. This is the only real structure they have left standing. But Madmen with this Baron buff will just slowly be able to take it down. Now do land Nevermore onto the Nautilus, but not much more they can do with it still. Madmen now whittling down his third, and Frostbite just look for something but can't really find it. Another route misses a Signatar now here, lands the taunt. Death Charge goes down, and I'm serious, the first one pulled out now. Glacier Prison onto the cannon as the NerfWaluigi is already taken down. The bot lane left, but Infinity dashes forward into the entire team, and he is punished swiftly as that's another kill going down for Madmen. Flash forward from Legacy, flash away from Sadisty to at least survive, but it's an open base, it's an open game, and it's a free one for Madmen as they just absolutely dominate Frostbite in this best of 3.
Yes, I mean, I don't think there's anything I can add. This was a very, very dominant win by the side of Mad. Two very... they weren't even close games. They were very destructive games. Mad got a big lead in the early game and just ran with it. Obviously, Levity is just... I don't think needs to be talked about it. Levity, the man of the match here for the side of Mad, just completely a one-man army on these two ADCs, on the Jinx, on the Misfortune. Not much can be said about it.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think just the bot lane having an amazing set of games, and I think also just I think just Infinity and the statistics, they went for quite a good amount of plays, and I think some of them were quite close. But I think in that second game, it just was a couple of them where they just were kind of outguided and outplayed a bit by Kui and by Levity, and I think they just had a couple of just really good plays. And after all, if you're just as fat as he was on the Misfortune, you can just run after everything you see, and you'll just win the fight because yeah, with the Bloodthirster you can't really get burst down, and you really have so much burst damage. So yeah, just a confident win there, I think, from Madmen really is going to help them for the rest of the season. I'm not sure whether we will have a interview. If somebody wants to do an interview, then please send us a message so we can arrange.
I can go and ask real quick.
All right. Yeah, so I'll talk a little bit more about it. Now, I think from Frostbite's side, there were some moments, and I think especially once it actually came to some of the teammates, they didn't even play half bad. I think they got some solid team fights, and they were able to stick together, but I think then there were also some other ones where they just completely running like idiots. And yeah, I think especially towards the mid to late game, it's getting called out so often that I think at that point it didn't really matter much, but it's still just every time was kind of the catalyst for Madmen to sort of running after the other members, because I think they were kind of the ones that were the setup or the peel, and when they were gone, I think there wasn't much to stop them from just running onto the Swain, onto the Lucian, and onto the cannon. So I think it just was, yeah, that was just a bit sloppy play. I think sometimes where they should have played a bit further back and played a bit more cautious. But yeah, it's tough to learn. These games aren't meant to be perfect, so
As
They will have
I
time to.
Sorry to cut you short,
Take it back.
as we do have the bot lane for Madmen here for an interview.
Right. Hello, hello.
Hello.
So good evening. Congratulations on your second win of the season. How are you feeling, Rafa?
It is good. That we are 2-1. We've just watched as VRC have taken a game off CLT. Life is good.
Yes, you
Alright.
guys are well on the way of being ranked first place, depending on how that game goes. I want to ask about. I'm very interested in the game 2 draft, and more importantly, the soul lanes. How did you guys decide on who goes, like, the matchup wise? Because it was a very, like, the matchup was really important for how the game would go, and it seems you guys chose the, the correct chemistry, I guess, with the correct matchups.
Well, we were thinking of the Cassiopeia when they had just the Vi and Lucian lock. So we're like, okay, it's grounding. It like just hard counters Lucian as well. Because if Lucian wants to face you and press R, he just gets ulted immediately. Then when we decided who goes where is the very specific call was made by Icknutar, which was like, if they pick Cannon, just put the Cassiopeia mid. Otherwise, it probably would have been top lane. And then that very specific thing happened, so we did.
Right. Yeah, then perhaps also for a bit more from the bot lane's perspective, as maybe a specific question, like what was your sort of approach to deal with the Lucian Nami, seeing it come out?
Well, we basically just said we win level 1, just give the base damage and Lucian sort of sucking without spells. And we found the engage level 1, and we basically chunked Lucian to 1 HP, and I think we just snowballed the lane from there. We made the correct decision in not giving up the wave priority for free, which usually you do against like meet against ranged. We said we can fight them, and we did. We won, and I think we just snowballed the lane off of that.
All right. Yeah. Then perhaps also, I guess in the first game, when like in some of those fights, what were really going through your fight, like in the early game, having to turn some of those fights, what was really going through your head in those moments to help you in those fights?
Is it game 1 or 2?
Game 1, like in some of the early game fights where you were kind of getting engaged upon by the Volibear.
Oh shit, yeah. We have been working on making sure we have a better understanding of where enemy jungler is, because that was like a thing we had an issue with before. But we knew very clearly, like if we had Braum, then we win any 3v3. Just based on like I think the CC lockdown and being able to front to back it really well. Like in that time when they ganked us and it became a 3v3, it was just like that's where our comp was like really good. Like the best thing that could have happened for Jinx is getting a 3v3 in that early game. As for the team fights, I don't know. I was Braum. It's on the ADC to answer how it is to have a fucking Volibear flashing on you.
Alright. Vulpes, do you have more questions?
Yes. Going into next week, you are going to be facing Quantum Enigma, who actually dropped their series tonight against Mug Machines, going 2-0 down. How are you guys feeling obviously after the win tonight and going forward into the next series against another team who is 2-1 and fighting for those top spots going into the top spots for the playoffs?
I think we very much have a game-to-game approach. Like for me, at least personally, I haven't even looked at QE yet, so it's very much we're trying to figure out what we want to do, and then to look at these response we're gonna get. We don't want to change our playstyle too much around the enemy because we think we're good enough to basically deal with any response we could get. So we just approach it week to week, and we will prepare some draft ideas, obviously, but I think we just approach it the same way we have for the last couple of weeks. Unless
I was
Quee
gonna
is different,
say, yeah, no, that's literally the same thing. I was like, we just kind of do it like week to week. We don't think very far ahead. If I for like the toxic flame side of things, I could just say Mug Machines have had an easier run to this point. I think the hardest team they have played is Vortex Reborn, who they lost 2-0 to in two pretty long games, and if we can beat Vortex Reborn 2-0, then on like a paper level, I'm not too worried.
Right. Yeah, then perhaps also looking at the rest of the season, what are, after this series, some things you're still looking to work on, if there are any?
Yeah, I think we're always coming up with things after every game of like, okay, even if we like do well, we're like, okay, we need to do this better. I think some things that we have worked on have been, namely like the communication and understanding between, especially myself and Jungle. But really, we know we need to do better. We need to understand our identity better, because against CLT, who have I think they have a very good identity, a very good playstyle, and a very clear way of playing, and they do it consistently and they do it well, and they have really good solo laners. We need to have something very clear in our minds. So I think that's the main thing we're working on, really.
Right.
Is
And also, do you have any final questions?
No, nothing for me.
Right, and I guess I'll give you a quick couple of seconds to shout somebody out, anyone you want, as we often do here on the Frostbite channel.
Levity, go for it.
Well, I just want to shout out Ice, who I think did really well this game. And even though he thought he was a bit behind, he put the pressure where he needed to and helped a lot with getting the bot lane ahead and rolling. So I think huge shout out to him. And to Kui for dealing with me in lane, even though I asked him not to touch the wave and was a bit aggressive with that. I think
Yeah, I was very tilted by that. This man didn't trust me to last hit like safely without fucking the wave. I was like, can I just get like 20 gold? And you're like, no.
So sorry for that, and shout out to those two from me.
Yeah. And also
Right,
shout
thank
out
you.
to our top laner, who does not normally play tanks and realized he had to be on tank duty, and he took it like a champ.
Right. Then thank you you two for this interview. Thank you both Frostbite Equinox and Madmen Origins for the beautiful series. And also thank you for my co-caster tonight, Vulpes.
Thank you for having me.
And then, yes. And then, yeah, that will be it for tonight. I do think it will might be streamed tomorrow, as Mayhem's game has been moved, as well as I think general some vault reviews. So keep your eye out for whenever Frostbite is streaming, so you can catch us. So yeah, thanks everyone for watching, and we will see you next time. So thank you and goodbye.
Good night.